Hello everyone, my name is Vanshika. On this channel, I share practical knowledge, creative ideas, and real world skills to make food processing easy and interesting for students and learners. Today's topic is unit operation in food processing. In this presentation, we are going to cover its introduction, preliminary operations, conversion operations, separation processes, preservation techniques, packaging and storage, advanced unit operations, including case studies and conclusion. So let's start the introduction part. Unit operation are the basic steps used in food processing to convert raw material into safe and useful food products. Each operation is simple action like cleaning, sorting, mixing, heating, cooling, drying, or packaging that together form the complete process of food production. For example, when we make fruit juice, we first wash the fruit, that is cleaning, then remove unwanted parts, that is sorting, crush them, that means size reduction, filter the juice, that means separation, and finally pack it, that is packaging. Each of these steps is a unit operation. So, unit operations are like building blocks of food technology. By understanding them, we can see how industries transform raw food into food products we use every day. So, moving on to the unit operation categories, it includes preliminary operations, conversion operations, separation processes, preservation operations, packaging operations. So, we'll go through these categories one by one and explain each of them fully. So let's start with the first category, that is preliminary operations. Preliminary operations are the first preparation steps done before the main processing. They make raw material clean, safe and ready. For example, we have cleaning, washing, peeling, trimming, etc. So under preliminary operations, we have these categories. First one is cleaning, that means removing dirt and contaminants, for example, washing spinach leaves. The next one is sorting. Sorting means separating food items based on physical characteristics such as size, shape, or color. For example, sorting apples into small, medium, and large categories. The next one is grading. Grading means classifying food items according to quality standards like superior, medium, or inferior. For example, grading eggs based on shell quality and weight. The next one is peeling. Peeling means removing the outer covering or skin of fruits and vegetables to make them suitable for processing. For example, peeling potatoes before making chips. The last one is blanching. Blanching means brief heating, usually boiling water or steam, followed by cooling to inactivate enzymes, preserve color, and soften texture. For example, blanching peas before freezing to maintain its freshness. Moving on to the conversion operations. Conversion operation in food processing are the steps where raw material are transformed into new forms by changing their physical, chemical or biological structure, such as grinding, mixing, fermenting, heating or drying. These operations give food its final taste, texture and nutritional quality. Conversion operations are the core unit operation that actually change food materials. Unlike preliminary operations, which only prepare raw material, conversion operations modify the structure or composition of the food. So these are the key types of conversion operations as you can see in the table. The first one is size reduction. It basically means breaking food into smaller pieces for easier processing. For example, grinding wheat into flour, cutting vegetables into slices. The next one is mixing and blending. It combines ingredients to achieve uniformity. For example, mixing sugar into milk for flavored drinks. The next one is emulsification. Emulsification basically means the process of mixing two immiscible, that means non mixing liquids, usually oil or water, into a stable mixing with the help of an emulsifying agent. So, the example for emulsification is mayonnaise or salad dressings. The next one is fermentation. Fermentation, that means using microorganisms to transform food chemically. For example, converting milk into yogurt or dough into bread. The next one is extrusion. It forces food through a die to shape or texture. For example, pasta, noodles, snacks. The next one is cooking or heating. It alters chemical and physical properties. For example, baking bread, roasting coffee beans. The next one is chemical conversion. That means controlled reaction to change in composition. For example, hydrolysis of starch in glucose syrup. So the next one is separation processes. Separation processes are a group of unit operations in food processing that focus on dividing food materials into different components based on physical or chemical properties. They are essential for improving quality, safety, and efficiency in food production. These are basically used to remove unwanted materials or to isolate useful components from raw food. They rely on differences in size, density, solubility, or other properties. So, these are the types of separation processes. The first one is filtration, that means separation of solid particles from a liquid or gas using a filter medium. For example, pulp removed from juice, or either filtering tea leaves from brewed tea. The next one is centrifugation, that means separation based on density by spinning the mixture at high speed. For example, cream separated from milk. The next one is extraction, that means pulling out desired components from a mixture using a pressure or solvents. For example, oil extracted from seeds. Another separation processes are sedimentation, that means allowing heavier particles to settle under gravity. For example, clarifying wine. The next one is sieving, means separating particles based on size using mesh or perforated plates. For example, we have flour milling. Next is evaporation, that means removing water by heating to concentrate food. For example, tomato paste production. And the last one is membrane method, also known as ultrafiltration reverse osmosis, that means using semi-permeable membrane to separate molecules by size. For example, RO water or whey protein. Moving on to the preservation techniques. Food preservation techniques are explained under unit operation in food processing because they are systematic steps that extend shelf life, maintain safety, and retain quality of food. These include thermal method, low temperature methods, dehydration, chemical preservation, and modern emerging technologies. For example, pasteurized milk, freeze-dried coffee. So these are the preservation techniques under unit operation. The first one is thermal techniques. That means heat destroys microorganisms and enzymes. For example, pasteurized milk, canned vegetable. And the methods used under thermal techniques are blanching, pasteurization, and sterilization. And the next one is freezing. Freezing means low temperature slows microbial growth and enzyme activities. For example, frozen peas, meat, fish. Next is drying. Drying removes moisture, lowering water activity. For example, dried fruits, milk powder, spices. The next one is chemical preservation. It creates unfavorable environment for microbes, for example, pickles, jams, or squashes. And the methods used under chemical preservations are salt, sugar, vinegar preservative, or benzoates or sorbates. The next one is packaging techniques. It controls oxygen, moisture, and microbial contamination. For example, chips packet, Tetra Pak juices. And the methods used under this are vacuum packaging, modified atmosphere packaging, or aseptic packaging. Last but not the least, we have emerging techniques. It includes HHP, PEF. HHP stands for high hydrostatic pressure, and PEF stand for pulsed electric field irradiation. So the principle is non-thermal methods that inactivate microbes while retaining fresh-like quality. For example, fresh juices or ready-to-eat salads. The next one is packaging and storage. Packaging is not just about wrapping food, it's a functional unit operation designed to protect, preserve, and communicate information about the product. For example, chips in nitrogen filled packets. So, the principle for packaging is it provides physical barrier, controls environment, and prevents contamination. It protects food, slows spoilage, and add convenience. For example, cans, bottles, cartons, vacuum packs, etc. And the next one is storage. It maintains food quality under controlled condition like temperature, humidity, or gases. It preserves freshness, delays microbial growth, and prevents nutrient loss. For example, grain silos, refrigerated dairy, or frozen meat. Moving on to the advanced unit operations. Advanced unit operation in food processing refers to modern specialized techniques that go beyond basic heating, cooling, and drying. It includes high pressure processing, irradiation, nanotechnology in food, for example, HPP juice or smart packaging. This case study shows how different unit operations such as thermal, freezing, drying, chemical packaging, and emerging techniques work together to ensure food safety, quality, and convenience. Last but not the least, conclusion. So, the unit operation are the backbone of food processing. Each step, whether thermal treatment, freezing, drying, chemical preservation, packaging, or emerging technologies, plays a vital role in ensuring food safety, extending shelf life, and maintaining quality. Together, these operations transform raw material into stable, nutritious, and consumer friendly products. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.